Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palma Show. And with me in this episode, I have someone who's a passionate advocate for financial empowerment, dedicated to helping individuals become the best version of themselves, raising their standards, and achieve freedom. Magda Schappert, welcome to the Dave Palma Show.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. What an honor to be part of your show. I love it. I love your episodes. I love your enthusiasm. You are such an entertainer. I love it.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much for that. I'm really, really greatly, appreciate the feedback I'm getting, actually. And I do get the feedback that's positive all the time. I wish they could leave it on reviews much, but I think I heard someone say they don't trust the 5 stars and Trustpilot sometimes and things like that. Sometimes like this, the word of mouth is even better, isn't it? You know?
Yes. You get the unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
What this show is all about, the real stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Magna, I think you're in a similar place to where I am in terms of what I'm trying to do in the world and what you're doing in the world right now. Except I don't really actually, I'm more a coach, as in the last thing I was doing was resilience coaching and life coaching and things like that, which is trying to get the best version of yourself. But of course,
that's great.
In these days since the pandemic, cost of living crisis and everything, people want to be financially well as physically and mentally well as well. So we can do with your input in the show greatly. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Magda. I mean, I know you did give me a brief input in the pre-show chat, so we can compare notes, because I think we had a little dabble in sports, didn't we, really, since I was at 12. I dabbled in track and field, lots of different sports. But I think you did a sport that I liked and admired much. Tell us a bit about yourself.
This is right. Yes. So, Dave, can you hear me?
Yeah, it went a little bit slow there. I don't know if it's my connection or your connection, but we'll carry on anyway. Sorry, yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your humble beggings. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. I was born and raised in a small island called Mallorca. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And Mallorca is a very, very popular island that a lot of British holiday makers go to anyway, so we know it quite well, actually.
Yes. That's exactly right. So my entire family was born and raised there. I am the first generation to leave the island. Isn't that something crazy to think about nowadays? So I was a professional athlete.
Oh.
Yes.
That's why you left the island.
I was a professional athlete.
Is that why you left the island?
Exactly right.
Okay.
Traveling on tour.
And what did you do? Tell us wow. So you must know Nadal then, if you come from.
That yes, we are coming from the same. We were training together. We are from the same tennis club. He's a little older than I am, so I always looked up to him. He was already
a bit taller than you, isn't he?
Older than me. You look up to the older kids.
All right, but he's a bit taller than you, so you'd have to look up to him. I know, joking.
Just a little bit. And a little
fella.
Stronger.
Yeah, a little bit stronger.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I rub shoulders with all the best athletes, from when I was a little kid, actually, and until I retired at a very late age of 33. But I overlapped it with a career as a firefighter, but then it's a very sporty kind of job anyway, in terms of, you have to be fit, and some people do sports outside that profession.
Yes. And the passion for your life. In this case, your survival is no different than remain on the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what level did you play at? Did you play at Wimbledon at all?
I did not. I turned pro at a very, very young age. I a lot of junior tours, professional tours. Yes, I turned pro at the age of 40, the ITF route and the WTAs and everything. And then I just, the entrepreneur inside of me was awakening. Yes, I decided to pursue the American dream.
Wow. So tell us about our American dream, because you had this entrepreneurism inside you. I mean, I just kind of did it by default, because what else do I do after I retire at such a young age? It's an early retirement. But for you, it was kind of a route from sports. Mine was the route of, let's do firefighting, and I could still do athletics and then do something after that. But yours was a very young age. You still was an entrepreneur, weren't you? So tell us about that route.
Yes, I had the fire inside of me of being the captain of my life. I always wanted to decide to reach the levels that I wanted to reach. I always, as a kid, I didn't like to rely on somebody else's decisions. I had very strong, I feel bad for my parents now that I am a mom, and I realize how strong opinionated I was as a kid, and I wanted it my way and all this stuff. So the entrepreneur inside of me showed up. It took the kind of the path of sports, but then when I hit the serious levels of professional tennis and professional competition, I quickly realized, okay, to make a good living out of sports, you must be, especially in female sports, in tennis, you must be top 50, top 20, and by the way, your entire life is absorbed with it, because you live for training, for competition, you don't have a life. Professional athletes have maybe 2 weeks to rest if they remain healthy.
Yeah.
So I quickly realized that, okay, I have a choice to make. Pursue my dream, which is tennis, but I believe life has more for me than just being in a tennis court, and maybe make it top to 100, 150 in the world. Maybe, if my body allows it and my mind allows it. So I decided to go to America and pursue the American dream. I came to the state of Florida with a student visa. I studied business. I continued to play tennis with a scholarship, and everything rolled from there. I just started my business right after graduating from my master's degree. And here we are today. My husband and I just sold a business for 8 figures and living the American dream, starting a new one,
so eight figures
Moola
is like
co-pilot.
Monaco pilot.
Yes.
All right. I don't know what
Moola
that is.
co-pilot, which we want to empower people that are not there is skill set. They don't have financial backgrounds. They don't even know where to start, but they need something else, especially after COVID. Prices are really, really changing. Everything is changing. And we want to bring the opportunity to everybody, the same opportunity that wealthy people have to make extra income, to invest. We want to bring this opportunity to everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you got to, I mean, I was actually considering a scholarship for track, actually, when I was in my, similar kind of age to you, really. Like, that's the route, wasn't it? Sometimes to do a scholarship, get out there. But of course, in the UK, they used to just return back burned out, because they used to wake up early in the morning and do cross country training every morning. And it's like, that's not for me, and then it's gone downhill. But
I remember. Yes.
But no, that's fantastic. Yeah, the scholarship system is great out there for sports, and to give you an opportunity with an education, and, like you say, pursue the American dream, which is obviously something you did. So which came first then? Did you pursue the business first, or a financial thing first, or your marriage came first, or how did it all go?
Yes, I started a business first. I started in the medical and supplement world. and I was doing something with macular degeneration and with eye doctors. And then I did that for several years. And then I met my boyfriend at the time. Today, my husband today, Jason Schappert.
Oh, right.
And he had his own business in aviation. He was a flight instructor. And I was doing my business. He was doing his business. We were both very busy, traveling independently. And our relationship got serious. We said, we need to make a decision over here. We cannot continue pulling both sides. We believe that every individual is like, our brains are like a battery, right? And if we have two independent batteries pulling for different sources, for different goals, we are either out of alignment or we are wasting potential opportunities and resources to grow something bigger and better together. And we went through the learning curve of working together. That's not for everybody, but for us, it has been a blessing. I transitioned out of my business. I jumped on board of his business, and together we joined his expertise with my expertise, and we're able to really transform the business and make an exit. We sold it to private equity, and now we are starting Moola Copilot. Doing it again. We could, when you have the entrepreneurship inside of you, you just can't retire at a young age. No. You need to keep, it's like an athlete. When you hit your goal, your milestone, what's next? And what's next? And you always want more and more and more. And it's such a fun journey. Well, the ups and downs.
Ask Maria Navratilova. Martina Navratilova. She didn't stop at any age, did she? And she also fled her country through political situations, actually, and came to the American dream as well. And otherwise, she wouldn't have been made, But of course, her decision was the other way, wasn't it? She stayed in sport because she knew she was going to go that route, Whereas you made the right decision. Obviously, it's a joint decision together with your husband, but however, it looks like you was doing it individually anyway. But it's interesting. You said that you put your skills together with his skills in his business, but you knew nothing about aviation.
Nothing.
Industry. So
absolutely nothing.
So was it transferable skills of entrepreneurship that you put in, or just your mindset from the tennis and your knowledge around the medical and supplement field, which obviously I have, obviously from being an athlete as well, and
Yes. And my husband, he was in a very specialized niche in flight training. I had no idea about aviation, about FAA rules, and but sports and business, but no matter in what industry you are, the fundamentals are the same. No matter if you. Leadership is the same, marketing, sales, it's all a constant negotiation, right? You negotiate with your employees, you negotiate with your customers, you negotiate within yourself.
And somewhere there's a contract as well, even if you're an employee.
Exactly.
Even when you're married. The only person I don't have a contract is the kids, which we'll come on to in a minute, because I've got a 9-year-old that's trying to show who's boss at the moment, and I don't have a contract to say, no, you're not.
Yes.
So problem, so
for us, what worked for my husband and I, we had to go through a very steep learning curve, because my husband is a very strong leader and a very strong entrepreneur. He has his opinions, and I am the same way, right? I came from having my business my way, my things my way, and he was coming from the same path, the same arena, right? And he was very, very successful at what he was doing, and he was doing it in a very unique way. So for me, coming from a completely different world, the world of sports and then into macular degeneration stuff, going into aviation, we had to really understand what a strength he had, what are my weaknesses, what are my strengths, and play around this. And we came into the realization that, okay, if we combined if you cover my weaknesses, I cover your weaknesses, and we just together work together for the same team, for the same purpose. And I knew my position. I am not the expert. I was not the expert in talking about aircraft systems, but I could really be the back end of the business, and in the finance and negotiations and business development and everything else while he was building content for the business and the technical side of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. So there is a technical side to it, and then there is a
Absolutely.
kind of business administration side, if you like, or the entrepreneurial side, with
Absolutely.
which everyone can have inside them as well. Anyway, so your husband's got that side as well as the technical ability, you know, and the same with what I do as well. If I want to sort of make some extra things out of my side hustles, you're using a business brain there, really, aren't you? You know, so
exactly. A business brain is a business brain. So many people make the mistake that I'm not good enough to start my own business because I don't have a special knowledge in any area. And I believe that it's a lie that just limits yourself.
It's called imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
It's called imposter syndrome. They just think, oh, I'm an imposter here. I can't do this, you know.
Yes. And you believe your own excuse.
And you believe your own stories in the end. Yeah, that's right. Which obviously you talk yourself out of it. And we know about that in sports or in training even. When you find the tough gets going, the going gets tough. That's the song, by the way, as well, which is sung by a British singer. But what that means is the going gets tough. When the tough gets going, the going gets tough. Whichever way round it is, it's a cycle. So you stay in that cycle. If you step out of it, then, you know, when it gets tough and you run away from it, then, you know, you're not going to get there. So that's basically
same in sports and in business.
Yes,
right. It's exactly the same. You either come up with excuses, my ankle hurts, I didn't sleep well, or you keep pushing and you know that when it gets difficult, you are close to a breakthrough.
Exactly.
And some people, you know, this is a skill that some people are born with it, but you can develop as well.
That's right. Exactly.
It's all a mindset.
Yeah. No, I mean, even people that are born with it, naturals, we call them, or natural ability people, still needs to train. You still need to train, or it would be wasted talents, wouldn't it? You know, so you have to kind of be nurtured and still do the work, you know, as such,
absolutely.
So to speak. Just not as much as someone who has to really work really hard, who hasn't got it. You know, they have to lift up, you know,
exactly.
Do the weight training or whatever, and the grafting a bit more to get that area where they've got the weakness, you know.
Yes. You just need to know where your passion is and what your skill set is. Exactly. Same in, like, for example, with you being a coach in tennis, the best coaches in the world, they can't play tennis. They are terrible tennis players.
Same in football, same in our national sport, soccer, that nowadays, not all of them are ex-soccer players. Well, they probably played football, but they're not really like someone who was, you know, there are national coaches that have been in a World Cup final, but some of them have just not been anything in football, you know.
Yes, very unique cases, a professional coach has been a successful professional athlete in the same arena. For example, Rafa Nadal's actual coach, Carlos Moya, he was number one in the world, had his career in tennis. Very successful tennis player, beautiful career. And now he transitioned into supporting tennis. Supporting Rafa's coaching. And that is something unheard of. Somebody that can apply it and teach it. Normally, people that has the knowledge lacks the applicability and in sports and in business.
I think there can be kind of straight pros and cons there, because also you kind of got the inside knowledge, which helps as well in the sport, you know, because I know that I couldn't go marching into tennis and saying, I'm going to be the best tennis coach in the world, just like that. Even in athletics, you know, there's a certain insiders thing, and you sort of get, but I'll get what you mean though. And coaching's another it's like a business brain in itself, isn't it, really? And training and helping people, and you can do it in anywhere, can't you?
Absolutely. I find it fascinating that the best business advisors, they are amazing and advising you and guiding you on what to do and how to do it, but not all the time they can apply it to their own business.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me. And you see this in different realms, right? In different, not just in business, you see it in sports. You see it in how many people, how many great teachers that, or doctors, how many great doctors that their health is not where it should be.
Yeah,
right?
I know. But they're serving other people. Yeah,
correct. And they are the best in the world at what they do. But when it comes to the applying it to themselves, it's another story.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I was in a helping profession myself, and there's times where I needed to be somewhere, where my own family was maybe suffering, but I've on the front line, going into someone's house that's burning that I don't know, they're total strangers. I know exactly professionally everything to do, and it's like, all right, but you should have been there when your nephew was crying out and getting in trouble here, there, or whatever, and your uncle needed you or something like that. I'm just giving. I mean, I did have some crisis in my life in terms of domestically, and it's hard, isn't it? Really,
Absolutely, and I really admire, Dave, what you did, and all the firefighters out there and first responders. I'm so thankful for all of you, and what a blessing you are to everybody. But it's fascinating how the mindset that you guys have and the control, the self-control, because you are fighting for your own life. And at the same time, you are masters at putting emotions aside and staying focused on the mission. And I can only imagine how difficult it has to be when a house is burning down and there is one of your friends are in there, and you have to put... You have to put your emotions aside and remain focused, remain with the plan. You cannot just make irrational decisions that will put your team and yourself in danger, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a situation where a family member of mine, sadly died was being cut out by firefighters. And I spoke to the firefighters at work, and they were talking about it, I know what it's like. And another firefighter, I think a couple of times I heard their house was, their family members got involved. I don't think they turned up. Maybe they did, but worst case scenario is when they turn up at the actual incident, so.
Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Just seems to be a bad day with connection today, but it's okay. I've got an editing software that sorts this out. Can you hear me now?
Here we go.
Okay, excellent. Okay, all right. We'll carry on talking. We've got 10 minutes left on the show, so let's.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. Don't worry about the video because it's mainly an audio show, and I've got software that will sort that out. Okay. Can you see me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, don't worry about everything. I've got software that will sort this all out. It might go in 2 bits. I'm not sure because you just cut out. So, yeah. So, let's move on to, if there's anything else you can talk about in terms of business-wise, because we're going to move on to personal development, marriage and parenting and that kind of thing. And
yes,
you're also a stepmom. I can see here from the notes as well.
Yes,
because I was just talking about family relationships in terms of turning up at a job, and so that's quite interesting. We brought that up. So shall we make that transition and talk about that side of things?
Absolutely. Very important. The family, it's very, very important. The personal life.
The last 5-10 minutes, so 5 minutes we've got now, actually, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. So stay-home mom. We have a 4-month-old.
Oh, wow.
7 and a 9-year-old.
Oh, God. So you're in the same place as me with the 9-year-old. Well, it depends. Is it a boy or a girl? Not saying it in a horrible way.
We are the 4-month. It's a girl.
Okay.
Sophia. Then we have a boy, 7, and Ella is 9.
That's a girl, yeah. It's 9.
Yeah, it's a girl.
So I've got a 9-year-old. I've got a 9-year-old daughter as well. So, but unfortunately, she's getting spoilt. So it means It means coping with all the tantrums. She's very John McEnroe'd up, but her tantrums are a bit like the football players when they put on a false foul on the floor and kick around, just to get that violation. So she's like that just to get her own way. And I'm just, no, you can't do that. But it does get a bit nasty sometimes. But anyway, I've been told that girls do that the most because they like to. I'm not saying in a horrible way. But apparently, that's how it is.
They are great negotiators.
I think they're good master manipulators. Yeah.
Yes.
Some, but anyway, manipulate is not the right word to use. But negotiating, negotiate is the right word to use.
Yes.
So anyway, tell us about yours before we wrap up the show, because I know we've had issues with the technical. So I'm sorry, anyone listening out there, if you hear any, the software was sort of a little bit out, the editing software, but if they do have issues, I'm sorry about that, and I'll be glad to have you on the show again anyway, and talk about various aspects. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us some tips around.
Yes. After COVID, my husband and I, had to transition, like many families, to work from home full time with kids. Kids were out of school. Now we have kids and parents in the same household all day, trying to run a business, trying to do school, trying to parent, trying to be a wife. And it was a little chaotic until we said, okay, we need a structure. Everybody had to go through a learning curve. Everybody had to learn their roles in the household, and also a school time and play time. And when Daddy and I are in business, in meetings, we came out with communication skills, right? We came up with communication techniques for the kids. For example, when we were in a meeting that we could not get interrupted, we put a sign on the wall or on the door. And when the sign was on, they knew they needed to remain quiet and not interrupt. And, it was a learning curve for everybody, but now we love it. Yeah. Everybody's homeschooled. My husband and I work from home. Full time.
Great.
Everybody adjusted perfectly. They say that in every adversity, there is a seed of a greater advantage. And COVID was really difficult and really, really tough for many, many things, but also brought great opportunities. And when and everybody that learn to adapt and to the new change and the new way to do things, and turn this adversity into an advantage. That's what happened to us when it came to in the household, right? To manage kids, manage the business, the marriage, because at the end of the day, if the marriage doesn't stay strong, everything falls apart, right?
You're around each other. They did say about that it either make or break during this pandemic for anyone, and then that made you think, well, we've got to really work at this then. I was in a situation the same and well, most people, as you can imagine, in that situation. But before we've got only a couple of minutes left, unfortunately, because of this connection problems. But I will have you on again. I'm sure I will. I'll keep in touch with my big email list of guests. I've got all 500 of them, but I'm sure we'll do that anyway, because we've got plenty of different areas we can talk about here.
Yes.
Well, to give us some tips for people out there with where you've got with everything you've done, where they can get to now.
Yes. If you find yourself in a moment in your life that you need to make a decision and transition to something, don't wait for the right time. The right time is not going to come. You are going to make it. And don't be afraid of not having it right. The enemy of execution is complexity. So don't make things more difficult. Don't think that I don't have it perfect. I cannot start my own business because I don't have the product developed yet. No. Start it and then start develop it. Don't wait for the time to be right. Just you can never buy more time. We all have 24 hours a day, and that's it. So you make the time right.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So that sounds perfect. I'd like to find out how you managed to do. So it's only on a funny note, really. How you managed to do the sign on the door, because I like to do that for my podcast and my 9-year-old daughter. She's getting better at it. Actually, she doesn't touch me now when she tries to come in and do the late night podcast. I do. This is quite early for me. Well, it's early for you actually, not for me.
Yes.
How did you do that?
Yes, so it's funny. We taught the kids, okay, when we are in an important meeting, you cannot be loud, you cannot just run in the room and interrupt. We had to define what an emergency was, right? Because what an emergency was for them, it wasn't an emergency for us. So we had to set standards and come into the same level. So we had to, an emergency for the 7-year-old was, I'm hungry. That's an emergency, right?
Of course, yes.
So we had to decide, okay, what is an emergency? If there is blood or fire, that's what he came out with, his definition of emergency.
Yeah.
And with the sign, we said, okay, this sign is going to be our red light and green light, like a traffic light, right? If the red light is up, you need to remain quiet and only come into the room if there is an emergency. And what is an emergency? Blood or fire. And come into the same, they say that the level of the quality of your life is the quality of your communication. And if there is a miscommunication in your marriage, if there is a miscommunication between you and your children, it's going to be a poor relationship. And same happened with the sign. If the kids if we were unable to communicate what was important to us, in that case, that meeting, the kids will not know because they speak a different language. So how do you speak the same language with a sign, with colors, with a traffic light, red light, green light? And that's what worked for our household.
That's perfect. The communication is key. Well, we've got to go now because we'll get cut off by Zoom. But let everyone know where they can find out more about your business and how you can help them. And
yes, absolutely. We are, Moola Co-Pilot. Find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media, on YouTube as well, and our website, Moola Co-Pilot. We have great tools of how to get your financial freedom and simplify it for people that are not in the finance world or not in the finance, let's say, industry.
Thank you very much, Magda. Magda, thanks very much for coming to talk to my guest today.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. Or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.